Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and again, I'm in my garage, and I've got something I'd like to talk about, and a few comments have come up on one of the YouTube channels about rotary machines, and I'd just like to address one of the comments that is commonly given regarding rotary machines and how they work. So I'd like to address that particular issue. And the comment that comes up, and I've read it many times, I've responded to it a few times, and it's the comment that the rotary machine isn't good because it only cleans the carpet fiber in one direction. And the answer to that is, well, it's true that the rotary machine is only turning in one direction. What's happening on the carpet fiber is that it's actually cleaning the carpet fiber 360 degrees. Because, as my little diagram shows here, I drew on my floor, the pad, whatever you're using, goes underneath the machine, and it's going to turn clockwise. So, as it turns clockwise, the side of the pad up here is moving that way on the fiber. And let's say you're going to clean the fiber right there. That pad, as it goes over that carpet, is turning like that. So it's cleaning that fiber in that direction. But you move the machine back, and now it's cleaning in that direction. You see this edge, this side of the fiber pad, or bonnet, whatever you're cleaning with, is moving in that direction. So there's two directions. And then you move forward a bit, and the back of the pad, or bonnet, is going that direction. That's three directions. And maybe you do this happens in a few seconds, and you go back over this way, this side of the pad, going this direction. That's four directions. That's 360 degrees. Does that make sense? Think about it. Although the pad is going in one direction, because the carpet yarn is still, and you're moving this disc back and forth on the carpet fiber, assuming that you do an overlapping pass, which you're going to do in most cases, you will be cleaning that carpet yarn from 360 degrees. It's really very simple. Now, as opposed to the orbital machines, which they do turn and they do a little oscillating action, what I've determined, because I own orbital machines, is that the oscillating action, which is very little, what's a 3/8 of an inch or so, or maybe a bit more, depending on the machine you're using. I mean, they're all, I can't remember what they are exactly, but there's not actually a lot of orbiting motion. The longer the yarn is, the more that yarn is just going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Whereas with the rotary, it can lay that yarn over and do just a nice, smooth, continuous pull across the yarn and actually pull that soil off. And of course, as you go 360 degrees over the carpet fiber, it's going to be coming at that yarn from every direction, doing that same action. And that's why I think that the rotary, particularly on a longer yarn, the plush carpets, etc., is a better option. I'm not saying it's always the best option, but for the longer yarns, for residential carpet, that's what I have observed over the years. I bought the Orbot machine 10 years ago or so. I think it was about 10 years ago. And I thought it was going to be, everybody was talking about how this was a wonderful new thing. The orbital systems were the way to go. And of course, this was before the larger orbit machine came on the market. And of course, at that time, that particular individual was selling a machine which had the same orbit, but was of course miraculously better than anybody else's, even so, if you know what I mean. But I thought, okay, orbital machines will be the answer, and I'll be abandoning rotaries and because orbital is going to be better. And it wasn't very long before I was thinking to myself, I'm not really seeing how this is better. It's not cleaning better. And perhaps one of the reasons why I was not getting a dramatically better difference is because I have learned over the years to really be very skillful using the rotary machine and understanding how to use it. And I'll tell you, one of the things that made a big difference, it was a real game changer for me, was when I first started using the fiber pads. Now, originally I was using the beige ones, the champagne color ones, and then there was some issues in recent years where I wasn't able to get them, and I went to using the white ones, which most guys were actually using. And I find they were just pretty much the same as the beige anyway. But what I discovered was that when I used to clean, way back I used to use these ones here. I used these for quite a few years. Because that was pretty much all there was available, that and the big loopy ones. We're talking 20 years ago. This is before the microfibers came out, and I don't even think the two-ways are available at that point. So, we're talking the early prehistoric days. And I did start using a brush, which is sitting right there. And I used the bonnet brush combo, the multi-brush, I guess they call it. I used those for a few years. In some ways, I really like them, but there was a couple of problems with them. For one, they can be, on some carpets, they really, really are quite aggressive. Particularly as the brush starts to wear down, they get stiffer, of course, because there's less flex in it. And then I found that I actually ended up having to carry about 3 or 4 of them in my van at the same time, because if I did a really grubby carpet, the bristles around the edge would get so loaded up with junk that it was actually end up kind of transferring back. I would end up getting these like dirt circles on the carpet sometimes if it got really loaded up with dirt, and that was problematic. And of course I had to clean them out with a hose every day, and I found they wore down pretty quick too. Anyway, and then I don't know, it was 10 years or so ago when I first saw Rick Galinas using the fiber pads under the Cymex machine, and I thought, I would have never thought of that, but I decided to give it a try, and that to me was a real game changer, because what I've discovered is, and this is important, is that the fiber pad is the primary tool to get the soil off the carpet fiber, not the absorbent pads. And the way that it works is the fiber pad has so much surface area, and this is a polyester spun, it's like a Brillo pad you use for scouring your pots and pans. And by the way, if you want to be your wife's hero, pop one of these out, the center out, give it to your wife, and get her, when she scrubber dubs the pots and whatever, she'll discover, as I've discovered, that these work really, really well for pot scrubbing. It's just like a pot scrubber. and it just strips the soil off the carpet fiber very easily. Now, whether you use the white, or the red, or the aqua, or these Bonnet Pro ones, hog's hair, which really work well. I mean, I'm really liking these. I thought they would be too aggressive, but I'm not finding that to be an issue at all. They really strip the soil off the carpet fiber. And what I discovered is that not only are they very good at actually sort of almost like cutting through the dirt like a hot knife through butter, in most cases, but when it comes to getting out stains, the fiber pads work extremely well. And I've developed a technique by what I normally will do is I will go over the carpet first with the fiber pad, and that's where I spend most of my time actually doing the actual cleaning. I'm talking about residential carpeting, where I'm doing a two-step, which is normally what I do. Sometimes I'll just use an Iron Man if the carpet's not that soiled. But if it's, pretty soiled and whatever, and there's lots of stains, then you go to the fiber pad, whether it be the white, red, aqua, or the hog's hair, whatever one you choose to use. I'm using the hog's hair more than anything now. But what I find is that the fiber pad will remove stains more effectively than any other pad that I've ever used, and faster. And then, now I know that a lot of guys are just spraying and not using the gravity tank, and there is absolutely no issue. When you learn how to use the gravity feed, there is no issue with supposedly washing the dirt through the pad and everything. All that just does not happen. But you need to learn to control the solution and apply just enough to keep the pad, whether it be your fiber pad or your bonnet pad, whatever you're using. All you need to do is just keep it damp enough to clean. You're not washing gallons of water through the carpet. I normally use in a typical house. It's very unusual for me to use more than a gallon or a gallon and a half of water. That's unusual. So that gives you an idea of how minimal the water usage is. So what I normally will do is I'll go over the entire area to be cleaned with the fiber pad. I'll go over most areas with this fiber pad. And that's where I spend most of the time actually cleaning. Now consider it like as if I was to, this would be the same as if you were to spray the carpet with a pre-spray can or whatever with your cleaning solution and not use a gravity tank. Only what I'm doing is I'm actually, think of it as I'm applying the pre-spray and scrubbing it in with the fiber pad. Now obviously it's going to take longer than if I was to just actually spray, but I've eliminated the spray step. So that time I would spend pumping up the sprayer and going around and spraying everything is eliminated, and now that time is spent doing the scrubbing. Of course, the scrubbing does take more time than spraying, I get that, but bear with me. Now once I've gone over the entire carpet, now I'm going to go over to, probably, in most cases I use the Iron Man cotton pad. And then I go over the whole area I just cleaned. Only I don't necessarily have to go over every inch, because out on the edges and corners and whatnot, you don't need to do that. You just don't in most cases. And what was I going to say? Train of thought gone. I know what I was going to say. The follow-up extraction step, which is done with the cotton or the microfiber, if you're choosing to use microfiber, or two-way, if you want to, that step is a lot faster than using the fiber pad. So you spend more time scrub, apply with the fiber pad, then you just put on your Iron Man and just zip over the carpet, and because most of the soil is already now emulsified in suspension and just ready to be just mopped up basically with the pad. And that's it. Now you were thinking it might take more time. Well, actually no, it doesn't. Because if you were to say go straight to the Iron Man, if there's fairly soiled carpet, you're going to go slower and go over the carpet more times with your absorbent pads than if you were to go with the fiber pad and then the cotton pad, because the fiber pad will strip that soil and stains, traffic lanes out of the carpet much faster than using your absorbent pad. So a two-step process in most cases is actually faster or about the same speed as if you were just to use the one pad. If you haven't done this, I recommend you try it. Now, I do also recommend you go with the gravity feed. It just gives you much better control of the application of your solution. Think of it as you're applying your pre-spray and scrubbing and agitating it in at the same time. If the carpet's soiled, maybe you spray and then go get your Grandy groomer and groom it in that way. Well, you can't beat the agitation of one of these fiber pads. Even the Grandy groomer won't do that. Anyway, that was kind of what I was wanting to address, because again, I've been reading comments from people saying that the rotary machine just here's the other point I wanted to make about somebody also said that the rotary is just flatten the carpet down. No. No, because what you're actually seeing is when you're going over the carpet, every time you go over that, say that one spot on the carpet right there, when you go over it this way and you're pulling the carpet up toward you over here, then you go back this way, and as the right side of the machine goes over that same spot, it's pushing it over that way, and then you do a little step forward, and the back part is now pushing it that way, and you've looped back, and then the front part is pushing it that way. Now you've just moved that carpet fiber left, right, back, front, all over the place, 360 degrees. But then when the last movement that you make, say you finished on that one spot and you're gonna move over this direction. As you move away with the rotary, the pad's gonna be turning like that, and so that yarn will be laying this way. That's the finished look on the carpet, is this swirled carpet fiber. Well, of course, because that's the last place where the pad touched the carpet. But you're not done, because you're going to have to groom the carpet. That's part of the cleaning, right? Now, I actually, of course, most of you guys, if you're watching my videos, do know that I post-vacuum in most cases. Sometimes I will groom, and if it's a really low pile carpet that doesn't show the pile hasn't visibly changed its texture by the agitation effect, like a low pile Berber or whatever, then I don't necessarily post-vacuum, but in most cases, I do. And that's just simply part of the process. And I do charge for my time to do a proper carpet cleaning job. We're at 54 cents a square foot, and my average job is about 600 square feet, maybe a bit more, and I do comfortably 4 jobs a day. And we turn work away. I can't get to all the work the phone rings and we're booked out more than a month, and that's not abnormal at all for us, because we are in great demand because of the reputation that we have and the 5-star rating we have, and of course we've been at it 25 years now, and I've learned to just really treat every customer top notch all the time, and give them everything. We include the sanitizing, deodorizing, dust mite eradication, anti-allergen treatment, and a protector. Dry time and normally about an hour. That's what we do. So, yes, a rotary is only turning one direction, but that one direction, because it's going back and forth over the carpet, is cleaning the carpet the carpet fiber 360 degrees for a full and complete cleaning process. The only place where it doesn't occur is right up against the edge of the wall, and in the doorways a little bit too. But if that's an issue, you can deal with that by hand if you have to. I rarely have to, very rarely. There is simply no issue with performance and cleaning, and if I only had one choice of a machine, rotary all the way, absolutely. And you can do whether it be commercial or residential. Rotary is just easier, simpler, less. There's no maintenance, of course. They're cheap to buy, easy to move over the floor because it's like once you turn it on, it's like power driven, and away you go. And anyway, that was what I was going to say. And by the way, in case you're wondering what's sitting over here, those are my dry blocks. I have 3 of them, 3 different styles actually. This one has a Malish driver on. This is my main one, actually. This one is one that I actually got with one of my machines way back, and it's really skookum, but it's actually really heavy. So that's why I prefer not to use it, because it's quite a bit heavier. And this is one that I modified and just put some Velcro on, because I had it, and it works okay. I had it slept a couple of times, so it only would be for fiber pads and 2-ways. Microfibers, it doesn't seem to like too much. So anyway, that's what those are, in case you were wondering. Anyway, I hope that helps to bring understanding as to how the rotary works, and how you do get 360-degree cleaning pass on your carpet fiber, especially if you're going to move back and forth like I do, and do an overlapping motion. You are getting 360-degree cleaning on your carpet fiber. So don't let that misunderstanding confuse you, okay guys? Hope that helps you out.